Hey, everybody. Welcome to a brand new era for movie recap. It will no longer be movie recap with Josh because we, in fact, have two new co hosts. One of which is with us today. We have the ever so talented, and I can say that because I've seen her in movies, Charlie St. John. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. Welcome aboard movie recap. Uh, so, in a brief kind of just tell the audience who you are, what you do, and what really makes you want to share your knowledge of movies, especially, reviews and just whatnot. So,
Let's see. A little about myself. So, I was born and raised in Dallas Fort Worth, Texas. I came to Ohio when I was maybe 13, 14 years old. Um, and it was a big adjustment move for me, especially for that age. Um, but I started acting when I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. Um, it was it was for theater actually first. And I started going to this theater place, which it actually used to be a convent for nuns and a church, and then they converted it into a theater and theater class place for kids, adults, whoever you want. And the place was called Creative Arts Theater, and or they called it CATS for short. And yeah, I did all of my acting classes there. We would do showcases. I did plays there. Um, and I also did some classes at Casa Manana Theater in Fort Worth, Texas. Casa Manana is very known there in Texas. It's the what we call the center floor theater. So there's a theater stage right in the center. Like the entire theater is a giant dome circle, which is really cool. And then the stage is just like right there in the center, which is awesome. Um, and then I moved to a doing more classes at a place called Trinity River Arts Center, which is in Dallas. And I started doing more theater classes there as well as doing shows, musical performances there too, including, oh gosh, my biggest ones I think that I loved were I think it was Peter Pan, Oliver Twist, Godspell was actually really good, and I believe what was it? I think it was Guys and Dolls and Music Man was also fun during that time and age. And then when I moved to Ohio, I did theater stuff. First within the they call it Orange Village Pepper Pike area. I am actually I am very happy and proud to say I did not only just theater classes but also a lot of music stuff and singing stuff. I do singing. I've been doing singing since I was maybe 11 years old. And one of the people within Orange Village Pepper Pike is actually a Broadway actor himself. Now if you ever heard of the Disney movie Newsies, that
mhm.
was the one with Tom Cruise. They put it on Broadway, I think, a few years ago, and one of my what they call our counselors for those theater classes, he made it as Davy, Tom Cruise's character for Broadway version, which and he taught me a lot with singing, with especially doing like physical expressions with faces and belting, as well as working with an actor who was also a he's also a Broadway actor now. He was mainly for Broadway's The Book of Mormon.
Okay. Okay.
And I still did theater stuff throughout high school, as well as community theater stuff. But then I also added film stuff within my career towards the end of high school, starting with being an extra in the Avengers film, which I'm actually seen twice. Look for a girl in a purple outfit screaming like a lunatic when the Chari or aliens come by. That'd be me. That'd be me. um, and I studied at Bowling Green State University. I got my Bachelor of Arts Communications in both theater and film with a specialization in acting and directing for both theater and film. I also earned my BFA at Bowling Green State University in writing, but I wanted to go a little crazy and extend. And so, besides getting a degree for writing for fiction, poetry, nonfiction, non poetry, editing, I minored in both film and performance so I can learn how to screenwrite, playwright, and edit for screenwriting and playwriting. So, yeah, all over the place, I guess. I started doing some film project stuff within college. We did the 48-hour film stuff. I did some theater projects there in the theater as well, or in the university. But my biggest ones when I started doing like real film stuff was after I graduated. I did a lot of theater stuff still, but I started extending more into film. And then I started really extending into film, I think, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, um, because COVID hit and some theaters were still closed because people didn't want to be close contacts. So, film was better. But yeah, that's most about me. And being an actress is what I call my Superman job. During the day, my Clark Kent job is I do accounting for a dealership. I take care of 3 cities actually for their payables. Amherst, Lordstown, and Cuyahoga Falls recently got added to my list this year. So yeah, it's fun. I was told I was never going to be good at math because I sucked at math as a kid. So suck on that.
Right. Oh yeah. Uh, so yeah, I mean, you got a lot of hats you wear, which is awesome because in this industry, if you're only wearing one hat, you kind of get lost in the shuffle. Uh,
Yes.
so audience members who will see this when it does air are going to ask, whether they email me, ask on YouTube or wherever they're going to see it, they're going to ask, what makes you continue and what makes you want to be not only involved, but kind of like a front runner in explaining how you review movies, how you like movies, and your do's and don'ts of other people's films.
Oh, let's see. What makes me go? Um, you know, I gotta tell you, I've had a lot of hiccups in life, just as everyone else does, and I think that is what actually makes me go. I with doing this business and with doing and being in this industry, you make a lot of connections with a lot of people. You they come through all different trails in life. And then but then within those trails of life, you somehow met them without knowing until you actually meet them. And I say that because they've either been through the same thing or a similar experience has happened with them. And that's how you can make that connection. Um, and with anything negative that, especially happening in this world, you want to make a positive of it. You want to try and make it a learning experience. It's and in a way with movies, I started my production team just last year to start making my own films to try to extend myself as an actress, or if someone might need help with screen editing, or well, not screen editing, but script writing, because script editor.
Yeah.
And and it just or even just as a coach, because I mean I'm not licensed as a coach, but I was, doing this for years. I've always been intrigued by either the science of it or the, physicality of it, by making those connections. Example would be method acting, and
Mm.
how you can, in the dark sense of either putting yourself into someone else's shoes or recollecting an experience that had happened to you to go into that character's shoes, and make it big and make it beautiful. um as long as we don't get too carried away. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. uh
Yeah.
yeah, he's still one of my favorites, and that was tragic. But yeah, he was a brilliant actor for method acting. And there's something therapeutic too with acting. And whether if it's on stage or on film, um there is a learning experience that you get from that character that you can take with you, as long as it doesn't get too deep, but you still take something with you. And it's the same thing with writing too. You write something and then you think at the end, when you are done writing that story or done writing that script, you think, "Oh my gosh, it's over now. It's all done." But it's like I know, and you're like, "No, I'm a loser and it's done. Oh, it's gone." No, it's not gone. No, you didn't lose. It just means there's a new chapter waiting or a new experience waiting, and you take it with you. Um, and I think what keeps me going is, from the things in life that I've been through, that I, I've been through a lot. I make the joke saying that, hey guys, I feel like sometimes my life could be a great Tennessee Williams tragedy. But it's still, in a way, I'm like, you know what, it's okay to still bring it out, but to bring it out in a different form. And for me, a form of art for me is either film or bringing it on stage. And then what gets me going to do more movie reviews is I want to just, I mean, of course, I want to look at a person's work and I want to be, you know, that critic. Because even with my degrees, we had to learn how to be critics. Even with writing stuff, we had to change our hats from oh God, I remember my days when it was my turn to be the critic for someone's work. I'm like, okay, someone make sure that my coffee is cold and black like my soul right now, because it's gonna get real. But yeah, I like looking at new things. I actually just recently got done watching Poor Things for the first time, I think the other week, with Emma Stone and William Dafoe. Brilliant, brilliant film. It gave you like Bride of Frankenstein like vibes, but I
Oh
loved
yeah.
how they were very like black and white with the color, and it just like, oh, okay, it's color because she's experiencing new things happening into her life, and the black and white was just like her little stepping stones.
Oh
um
yeah.
yeah, I forgot, and I'm trying to remember who directed that, but they just the entire story, the entire thing of it in general, was just beautiful. Creepy. There was creepy things, of course, but overall, once everything added up together, I'm like, oh, this is a great piece. Like, this is brilliant. Um, I I and I want to keep going, and I want to still see new things. I'm a creative, person, and I also like to be inspired by other people's work. And I like to see what they've done, and I want to continue to do that along with making my own things and seeing what they like of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But and then what was the one thing? Sorry, I know I missed something.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. So with because this is this is in essence, you've we've done an episode before, but this is kind of like your starting off point, your kicking off point. Uh, what
Hmm.
do you want the audience? What should the audience expect from you with movie recap?
Let's see. So like if they were going to see one of my films or any of my works.
Well, just like, well, that also kind of like, are you brutally honest with your reviews? Are you, do you kind of lay back a little bit when you know that other people are, let's take a movie called The Telephone with Whoopi Goldberg, the worst movie I've ever seen. Like, like when I say worst movie, I would rather sit through Garbage Pail Kids 15 times in a row and then whatever you could put me in front of Dallas for 18 hours and I'll still watch that before Telephone. Telephone was garbage.
Oh
Uh,
gosh.
it's an hour and
Um
17 minutes I'm never going to get back. So,
right, right. Oh gosh. So I try to be very I try to be positive and lively. I am a very over the years I've become more blunt, I guess in a sense where I do give the positive reviews because hey, people want to know, what good things that came from their film. And then I would also, but then I, of course, after giving the good positive feedback, I would give them the critic feedback on what they could work on. Not saying so much of like, well, this sucked and I hated the picture. And yeah, the actors could have taken a few more courses on how to act. I couldn't really be like that. I would just say something along the lines of like, say if the actors were bad at their acting, I would tell the director, maybe next time, well, first I would ask the director like how did they feel about the actors acting first, because I mean, maybe they thought that they were amazing, or maybe they did suck, and maybe they were having a hard time with it, and they just couldn't admit it to them, at that moment. And I would just say, well, maybe the next time you could look into doing some research on people who have had acting experiences in the past, who are more professional, probably have done this since they were, like, yay high kid. Although I haven't grown since 10th grade, so I think I'm still that yay high, or fourth grade. So I think I'm still that yay high. But yeah. Um, or like, say like, or, hey, maybe did an actor did you see what agency that they're in or what classes that they took from similar schools, courses, anything, just along the lines with that. Or say, hey, uh, what did you think of the picture? What was your thoughts? And if they said, oh, it's great, then I would have said, oh yeah, I think it was great too. But I would also recommend maybe, the next time if you do something like this, maybe look into getting this guy. Here's his card.
oh
Give him a
yeah,
call.
oh yeah. I know that a lot of people shy away from wanting to have their movie critiqued because they're afraid, hey, you may not like it, and they don't want to hear that. You know,
Yeah.
I've actually witnessed that. Like, I've had people ask me, can I review their movies? And I'm always honest with them. I'm like, I can, but before I post my review, I will tell you, like exactly what to expect because I don't want you to be caught
Hmm.
off guard.
Yeah.
And like some people were like, well, I, prefer you not to do the review then. You know,
Yeah.
because see, I believe, God's honest truth, I believe that every film, regardless of what it is, needs to have one defining characteristic that makes it a savable movie.
Absolutely.
And if there's not that one thing that saves the movie, then the honesty that I'm going to give, you know, I'm a nice guy, but I also believe in, like, if nobody likes my movie, I don't want them to say, "Oh, I like it," when they don't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, being honest sometimes it's a tricky slope because you can literally be honest and someone will not like you.
Yeah.
But that's where, in this industry, I mean, just look what happened. I don't want to name names, but there was a big time Hollywood director who was dogging a bunch of other people because he just didn't like what they were doing.
Hmm.
And I'm like, just because this person didn't like these things or these actors or these projects doesn't necessarily mean it warrants this person to go on social media and actively bash to a point to where one post received over 100 million views. I'm like, that's a lot of views.
Yeah.
But see,
Yeah.
I I do agree with you. You know, it's being tactful, but also being honest.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Just
But I do want to say that it is going to be a refreshing change to have you and the other co-host, which we will be announcing him next week. Uh,
Mhm.
but because people can hear what I have to say, but that's just me. But when I can have a conversation with you and we can actually, agree or disagree, but still be able to have a civilized conversation, I think that's what this industry needs right now.
It does. It absolutely does. Even if I don't want to, say, people need to have negative conversations. It's not negative. It's critic. It's critical conversations, critical conversations.
Oh yeah.
I remember last year when I made first my first film, which is actually part of a series that I'm working on. It's a drama thriller Southern Gothic like series that I'm working on. So yeah, like we talked about the other time, Southern Gothic meaning the idea that if something seems too perfect, something else is going on. A director friend of mine who actually he's the director of a movie that I'm acting in right now, which is Prayer Part Two. I think you've seen some posts about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a superhero film, but there's like some spirituality to it as well as a lot of drama and betrayal. So the director of it, which is a dear friend of mine, David Walker, he I remember we had this conversation and he told me, he's just like, Charli, your first film is the first film that you will ever make, that anyone will ever make, is going to be their worst film ever. He's like, because you know what? I made mine, and looking back on it, I almost I lose 5 pounds because I want to vomit for when I see it the first time.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, oh wow. So I mean, I try to make it easy when I made that first part of Scorpion Queen, where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this where it's just two actors, but one is present the entire time, which that one actor was me. I was doing two different people, two different personalities. And then the other actor was just a speaker on the phone.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I'm like, okay, if my first film or first piece is going to suck, let me also be careful with it and, see what I can do. Now, I've gotten a lot of positive reviews about it. And a shout out to my dear friend Gabe Rios, who cinematographed, filmed, directed, well, I co-directed. I was like, wow, you're directing me and I'm directing myself, but on how this is gonna go. But yeah, Gabe has known me for over 10 years doing this. I've done some of his films and a lot of his projects throughout my college years and then post grad years. And I wouldn't have friends that friends slash family, honestly, that I wouldn't have because of him. Um, and I was like, you know what? Because he's known me this long and he is like a brother that God forgot to give me, I'm gonna trust him with helping me through this first film. We had a long day of doing, we got it done in one day. Like, I was surprised. Like, I'm like, we are ambitious. How did we do this in one day? Because we got all the daytime stuff done and we just waited for the night stuff to happen, and we got it done. But looking at it, like, I think I did a really good job of it, but of course, hey, we're creators and we think our own work is great. But then of course, we also are our worst critic. And I did get some people that were like, well, it's a good storyline. I'm having a hard time because of the long pause. They said long pauses, which I didn't pay attention to pauses. I didn't think that there was long pauses. But I mean, overall, I think I think we did very, very good. I think it was a good job for a first film. There are critics, that wants to talk, but one of the biggest things though was, everyone, couldn't stop bragging about Gabe's editing of what he added on there, which, I absolutely loved. So yeah, first film is going to be the worst. And then you learn how to grow. Like, for me, I try to make sure, especially with short films, you want to have a very, very short cast when you're doing short films. If it's a feature film, of course, you're going to have more than one actor, but you learn how to block them on certain days when they're available. So then that way, when it comes to the editing, you can just like add it in together, which is, perfect. But yeah, what was your first film that you thought was that you thought was?
So I actually directed my first time ever was last year was Not There.
Mhm.
It was a long journey from like putting it on paper to putting it on film. It was a long journey and
Mhm.
more ups and downs. Uh more you get what I'm saying. More downs than ups
Yeah.
actually, but still. I mean, we made a 2 hour horror movie in 8 days on a budget of $800. And
Oh my gosh, wow.
oh yeah, long nights, and there's like I could tell you it's going to be God's gift to everything, which it's my first film. I already know that, I know I'm going to like it. There's going to be people that don't like it, which is fine,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
But I will say first and foremost, and this is a testament to the cast and crew.
Mhm.
If it wasn't for them putting in all the hours, freezing their ass off because we filmed it in Michigan in November.
Oh, good God.
Oh yeah,
Oh, freezing.
oh yeah, and we were outside sometimes to like 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. So, I mean, when it got
Oh,
down to the nitty gritty, it was cold.
yeah. Oh
But
my gosh, especially at night.
oh
Oof.
yeah. But if it wasn't for the cast and crew, Not There would have never been made. And I'm always going to stay humble and I'm always going to praise them because
Mhm.
I wrote it, I directed it, but being the first time the director and writer, I also had to lean on the already established people that were a part of the film, you know.
Mhm.
And I can name right now, I can name 4 people, 5 people, you know, but it wouldn't do the entire cast justice, So to be honest, if you'd have told me a year ago, hey Josh, you're gonna write and direct a movie, I'd have told you you're out your rabbit ass mind. you know, but is it was a journey. But also throughout that journey, I was also in a movie. Like one of the people I've interviewed who became a really dear friend, Kevin Jensrowski. Please, everyone who's going to watch this, follow that man. He's a creator of Creep Footage, which is right here, which you can't really see, but Creep Footage 4 and 5 and 1, 2, and 3, and I'm actually in this one 4. But
Oh, cool.
It's on YouTube. You can watch them all. You can watch the entire series on YouTube. But he asked me, he goes, "Hey, do you want to be part of this?" I was like, "Sure." And my role was is I got to play me. So if I messed up me, there's something wrong. You know. But again, another thing, if you'd have told me, "Hey, Josh, you're going to be in a movie," I'd have been like, "You're out your rabbit ass mind," you know. But it it's a respect for this industry I have more so than anything else in my life outside of my wife because this industry brought me to where I am today because they accepted me, you
Yeah.
know. And a lot of people are like, you can write what you want, you can direct what you want. It's not true because the moment you write something, now you are taking your words and giving them to other people to where they have to bring these characters to life.
Right.
And as much as yeah, sometimes thoughts do come easy, like okay, this character can do this. Is it going to make sense for the next character?
Yes.
You know, but ultimately, it was a journey that I don't think. Well, there are some things that definitely would have changed, but all in all, at the end of the day, I'm happy with what we've got, and we're actually going to be premiering it sometime probably in May. So,
Hmm.
but I
Exciting.
oh yeah, uh, but I will say that this is advice to anybody who's going to see this. Stay humble
Yes.
because the moment you're no longer humble, you're not doing something right.
Right.
Because you got all these upstarts that have all the talent in the world, but they already think they're the next Brad Pitt or Sandra Bullock.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm never going to tell somebody how to think, what to do. Well, unless I'm directing you, then I guess I'm telling you what to do. But
Right. But
but long story short, it's a team effort. It's never going to be a
it
solo
is.
person. So, and kind of like to piggyback off what you said, you got to have the right people you can work with.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'll tell you this much: for the cast are not there, we had people who've been in movies, we've had people who have not been in movies. So it's a mixture of both. And the script, even as we went into filming, the script just kept changing, and it changed and
Yeah.
changed. And by the end of it, it was like what I had originally written
Hmm.
is not what got filmed, but what got filmed was better than what I wrote. Which
And
is
that's
crazy.
what happens. Yeah, and that's what I realized too with a lot of films. I think I mentioned to you, I have a feature that I'm working on, and it's been in the works since last year, beginning of last year. And I recently actually had to postpone it again because it wasn't so much of wanting to get funding started, but more of creativity shifted.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, you know what, it happens, and it's just it makes me feel disappointed with myself, but at the same time I'm like, okay, I can't be disappointed with myself. I can't be disappointed because things have changed, things have shifted in my mind right now during this process of this, because this film that I'm doing is based on an experience that happened in my life. But now I'm looking at it, and of course there's work that still needs to be done, but there's also this idea where I feel like the story is not over. There's something
Uh,
else that's either coming or something that hasn't ended yet.
uh,
And if that's the case, then maybe this movie will be better than what I thought it was going to be, or
uh,
whoever I was, working with thought it was going to be. Maybe there has to be some sort of change because now, with the world now, too many things are changing. And it's not even just the world, it's our minds as humans in general. But there's something about it just from looking at the script again. And this is why I told, the cast about this. I was just like, listen, I don't want to stop you from other acting opportunities. Please, keep doing what you want to do, take other acting opportunities. If recasting has to happen, it has to happen. But, it just in my mind, the script, not only needs work, but there's something else, it's just even the last few weeks, I feel like it's been nagging at me that there is more to this story that I'm forgetting or that
All
needs
right,
to be added. And it either hasn't happened yet or I haven't learned something from it yet, if that makes sense.
all right.
Um,
We got about a
but
minute and a half left, so go
yeah.
ahead.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, no, no. Oh yeah. But yeah, yeah, when you are working with actors, it is always good to have some sort of connection with anyone in general. Like it just, with an actor who has worked with other actors, you can ask them, "Hey, do you know of a certain actor who could, fill this role? Or I'm working on this role. Do you know of anyone who can?" Or for me personally, I could know them and I could have worked with them. And I could say in my mind, okay, I'm writing this project. Who do I know would fit this character? And I just like, even when I write, I'm actually working on another short film as we speak right now. Yeah, that feature one, putting it in the back burner. Something magical will happen for that, but now working on another short film, and where I'm just like, okay, I picture this person, but let me reach out and make sure that they're okay with it, because in the end, actors, not saying that they are very egotistical, but there are some, and there's some that are like, well, I want to fit this role, I want to fit that role. Respectfully, yeah, you want to respect their wishes, which is why it's just like, okay, let me give you the script, see what you think. If you fit this role and you think you do, great. If you don't, yeah, a little sad, but there'll be someone else and I can ask someone else. But it's all this process. And the best part is wondering not only who could be the best actors, but the actors who can actually get it done.
Oh yeah. All right. Uh, so we are coming to the end of the show. I want to welcome you, Miss Charlie St. John, to movie recap, and let's make this journey be as exciting as our film journeys.
Yes.
So, all right, everybody. Until next time, keep watching movies and make sure you get your greasy popcorn. Talk to
Talk to
you
you guys soon again.
later. Oh, okay, now I can't even find stop. Where the fuck is stop? Oh, the sorry.